I need my hat. This video is the best of, the worst of, the okay of 2013. This video is in my opinion, one of the biggest letdowns, what were the best albums, and what are some things that I'm not really still sure on of this year. 2012 gave me a lot of hope, not just because of things I was going through that were going well with the relationship and the music getting me some acknowledgement and college going well and promotions and other things like that. But last year seemed to give us a lot of music that was executed well. A lot of thought and care went into it. You had albums like The Heist, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, even though it's more mainstreamy, I did really like it. Dream Chasers 2 by Meek Mill, Lecrae's Gravity album. As much as I hate to admit it, I liked Psy. I liked Psy's music. Meshuggah put out another album. Good Kid, Mad City, Kaleidoscope Dream by Miguel. A myriad of other things, and as much as I hated it at first and how annoying it was to me, and I begged my then girlfriend to stop playing it every time we were together, Ellie Goulding's Halcyon album was something that I really came to like and am very fond of. And 2013 has kind of given us a little bit of the same. There's been some disappointments in there as well, but that's expected with every year. There's no album every year is going to be great. So this is favorites, letdowns, surprises 2013. I want to end the video on a positive note, so we'll start with the least favorite albums and the ones that I thought were kind of letdowns. The first being Wrath of Cain, the Pusha T mixtape that was released in mid-late January. And this was back when I wasn't really familiar with Pusha T like I am right now after the My Name Is My Name album. To me, it just was kind of lackluster. It was really hard for me to get into. I don't know what other people thought about it. That was just my opinion. I thought more could have been done. There could have been more topics that could have been covered. And that's just what I think about it, so it wasn't anything that stuck out incredibly to me. I Am Not a Human Being 2 by Lil Wayne. We all need to admit that at some point we were fans of Lil Wayne. Whether you were diehard, everything he put out you were on, or you had at least one song by him you thought was just a banger, or you were kind of middle of the road and thought he was either hit or miss. That's kind of how I was around his rebirth, I Am Not a Human Being, backlash of the Carter 3 era. I was a big Lil Wayne fan. I Am Not a Human Being, I thought it was okay. I thought it could have been a lot better. At the time, I thought it was a really good album. Looking back, it's so-so. But I Am Not a Human Being 2 is just... I don't know. It's also kind of like Rebirth 2. There's a lot of rock elements in there, and it's about one of the most shallow rap albums of the year, to be honest. There's one song on there with Gunplay as a feature that I can tolerate, and the rest of it is just so I don't know. Wayne's gonna have to figure out something because he is not good. Speaking of Gunplay, his mixtape Acquitted that came out in late May was actually a disappointment to me too. I'd really liked Gunplay because of songs like Bible on the Dash. He did a remix of I Got That Sack by Gotti, Bogota, which was a really good song, I thought, and a couple other songs that kind of got some YouTube views. And I really liked Gunplay, and Gunplay just seemed really different from anything else that was out there. He was definitely discernible. His voice was discernible from anyone else. If you just saw him in interviews or just, like in a vlog, he's very, kind of charismatic and goofy and doesn't really care. And he definitely looks different. So I liked Gunplay. I thought Gunplay was going to give a lot more than what he's given, especially with this mixtape. Aside from that, also the beats weren't as much of a banger as I thought the beats would be, and there needed to be some work, I think, in mastering it, because the bass seemed kind of washed out and stuff seemed a little bit watered down and kind of got lost in the exporting or processing part of it. I'm not sure, but that was kind of a bummer to me. Um, the Underachievers, Lords of Flatbush, kind of the same thing as the Acquitted mixtape. I was expecting some bangers, really bass heavy, but it seemed to just kind of lose quality, I guess, in the mixing or mastering part of it, because I just didn't really feel like I, could kind of grasp it, and thought, oh, if that was a little bit louder and had some better mixing and the levels were better, that'd be a really good beat. But and the lyrics weren't anything that was too awe-inspiring. I know there's been a lot of good praise toward the Underachievers' other mixtape, Indigoism, and I heard that was more cloud rappy. I haven't checked it out yet, so maybe that will be the one that wins me over from them. But I thought Lords of Flatbush was just kind of, and I was bummed because I heard a lot of hype about it, and it didn't live up to the hype. Magna, Carta, Holy Grail, one of the most anticipated rap and hip hop albums of the summer of 2013. I got really excited about it because Jay-Z was one of my biggest influences when I began to rap, and I think a lot of rappers will tell you the same. Old Hove, I mean, you really can't compare to, like, from 98 to 2003. Jay-Z was in a zone. He is a living hip-hop legend, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. And Magna Carta Holy Grail was a disappointment to me. A lot of failed attempts at club songs and Chicago-style bangers, and I was just disappointed in it. I thought it was going to be deeper. There are a couple good moments on there. There are a couple lines that I like just because they're so absurd and so humorous, but there's only a couple songs on there that really aim to provoke some thought, and everything else is just kind of falls by the wayside and gets lost, and it's forgettable. I was bummed. Hove disappointed me. Yo Gotti's November 19th, the mixtape between CM7 and the I Am album. Oh, that I reviewed it on my channel, and I don't know. I said I was going to listen to it still, and I don't know. I don't think I will. There's 2 songs on there that I listened to and that I've kept since the review, and the rest of it is just rough, and it's just showcasing younger artists with the CMG Music Group. And I was just bummed. I really like Yo Gotti, but that was kind of a bad mixtape. I mean, from the perspective of beat selection, features, levels, and mastering. I mean, just it didn't have any flow. It didn't flow well. It was interrupted by unnecessary talking, and every song was kind of a different level, and you had to adjust your volume, and it was just a bummer of an album. I'm gonna criticize myself here for just a second. Kulprit D's Summer Nights in Highland, my second mixtape. Kind of a letdown, to be honest. I should have gone and reworded some of the lyrics in there. I should have fixed some mistakes. I should have had some better beat selection. I think the mixtape should have been shorter, and I should have picked the songs that stuck with the theme more instead of just throwing a remix in here and there. I mean, I'm proud of it to an extent. To an extent. Because I did work really hard on this album. There's a lot of thought in the concept. It's a good concept when you say it, but it didn't play out all the way that I'd wanted it to. So Summer Nights in Highland, my own mixtape, kind of a letdown. And I'm sure it was for other people as well, and I'm sorry about that. The last big letdown here on the list, least favorite, was going to be Kanye's Yeezus album. Kanye does the same thing that he's been doing a lot the past few years, and that is presenting an idea that on paper sounds really good and awesome, and he gives you the blueprint for an idea that could be really deep, but he doesn't go through with it in the song. He touches on it maybe 1 or 2 lines, and then the rest of it is just unnecessary bragging and boasting and the usual Kanye thing. And not just lyrically, but production-wise, it was not my cup of tea. There were a couple songs that were interesting to listen to just because they were different, and you kind of warm up to them, like I Am a God and Black Skinheads. But a lot of the other stuff is just electric noise nonsense with him screaming or being auto-tuned in the background. I don't think there's any song from that album that I want to listen to more after just hearing it once through, so I can say that I listened to it. Yeezus was just not my thing, and I think it was a letdown, and I think it was just kind of crappy.